even the guys with a tracksuit on, zipped up to their chin, I would know who's in shape. How? By the face. Because the face will be super drawn. You'll see the muscles in the side of the jaw. The face will be sunken in. That guy's, you can see he's in shape. But now the guys are round and happy and
round and happy.
Yeah, they're smiling. We weren't
the bellies are round as well because they've got those sort of distended.
This is from. Nobody really knows exactly what that is, but I started using insulin as an anabolic 96, 97, the last 2 years I was competing, and my stomach just started to get a little bit distended. So I think this is the cause.
Is that called bubble gut?
Yeah, insulin's a strange one from what I understand about it, because obviously it's a diabetic drug that, and I'm guessing what you guys were doing was trying to get your body to absorb more nutrients and more of the.
Insulin in a way is an anabolic hormone, so if you mix it with growth hormone and steroids, theoretically, it works in an anabolic way. But I tell people that I coach and help now and advise, I say, look, I'm always honest, I tell you the truth. Yes, I used insulin. Was it a positive? In my mind, no, it wasn't, because you'd start to lose a little bit of the quality, and not to mention the negative health effects. You know, diabetics that use insulin, I think they have like 10 years less life expectancy.
Wow.
So if you're using insulin and steroids and other things altogether, this is becoming a ticking time bomb.
There's a lot of
the older you get, the less that, let's say when I was 20 years old, I could go out and get totally hammered, pissed, drink a bottle of vodka, and the next day I'll probably be all right, or the day after that I'll be fine. If I did it now, I'd be destroyed. I'd be a week. So your body can't tolerate this kind of stress as you get older. So we're seeing a lot of heart attacks and stuff with bodybuilders now in the 40s and 50s. I mean, it's happened always since the 90s. There's been a few guys, Mike Mazzarato, that competed against me, had a triple bypass at 38 and died at 48. So it's there, but it's getting more and more frequent now, I think.
Yeah, I wrote down a few names that I wanted to bring up, because it feels like, especially.
I got a list of 50 when I did a podcast last week with this medical expert, and there's 50 pros that I know about. That's just pros
that have died.
What about amateurs? What about guys that never compete?
Well, yeah, like I don't know if you know this guy, but back in the 90s there was a guy called Andy Hornby. Yeah,
British guy. Competed against him in the British Championship 1998. He was light heavyweight, I think.
Yeah, my dad. Well, he was my dad's best friend actually, but my dad always said like this.
He's a young guy, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was early 20s. He died backstage or something, I think, because of the dehydration.
Yeah. That's diuretic use.
Yeah.
Some guys and girls use diuretics to lose body water, and you lose a lot of electrolytes. Electrolytes regulate your heartbeat, so if they get really out of whack. Mohammed Ben Aziza, that beat me in my first pro show, he died on a European tour from basically his whole body started cramping up, including his heart, and he had a heart attack. Very early 30s, I think.
So this process that you guys go through, I don't think people understand who see it on stage. They just think, you inject steroids, you get on stage. But like, obviously there's the bulking, and you change drugs, you take cutting drugs, I guess, that are different, and then if you're using, I don't know if insulin is a part of that, but the fact that you then have to take all of the water out of your body, and I went to a bodybuilding contest once, and I seen this kid, like, he was like lying there before getting on stage, just drained,
no energy,
and he was getting like these Lucozade tablets and a shot of whiskey before he went on stage, and I'm like, this is absolutely mental. This, like, what is that process like, doing all these?
Well,
because Lawrence was asking me about Tren before we came on, and I'm like,
Tren's almost a whole other thing now.
What is that even?
Trenbolone's an anabolic steroid that see a lot of anabolic steroids aromatize. What that means is because estrogen, which is a female hormone, and testosterone, which is a male hormone, they're fairly similar. So if you're putting testosterone from outside, and so your levels are going right up, male hormone levels, your body can actually convert some of that to estrogen, so the estrogen comes up as well, so it's trying to keep a bit of a balance.
Right.
But not all steroids do that. Some of them don't aromatize to estrogen, Trenbolone being being one of them.
Is that considered a positive or a negative? Because
considered to be a positive before a contest, because if your estrogen levels are high, you tend to hold more body fat and more water, be a bit softer, right? It's a female hormone. So Trenbolone, we were using that in a form called Parabolone. Came in from France in 76 milligrams, and I'd probably use 2 of those a week. 2 or 3 a week was like accepted back then, that would be the maximum, so around 200 milligrams, because it's quite powerful and potentially a little bit toxic. Guys are coming to me now that don't even compete, and they're saying, I'm on 800 milligrams of Tren. I'm like, where did you get this? Where did you get this information from? Like, it's crazy. But you know, the internet is a source of information, which information is good, but you got a lot of information.
Well, that's what we were talking about.
Not all of it's good, a lot of it's bad.
Yeah, we were talking about this before, weren't we? Because part of my research, I ended up on TikTok. And no one ever wants to say that when they're doing research. But the point with that was that there was a guy on TikTok who was basically, he's a bodybuilder and he had his own bodybuilding account. And I think he hadn't, you know, he wasn't particularly famous, but he was saying he was kind of beyond his peak, and now it was time for him to come clean about a couple of things. And one of them was about Tren, and he said he had a gyno problem and these kind of things as a side effect of that, and that it came with a lot of side effects. And he felt that there was a lot of people on TikTok, Instagram, all these places, just advocating for the use of this stuff, not really talking responsibly about it. And he said it really concerned him because, I mean,
yeah, I think each generation of bodybuilders are pushing the chemical envelope a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more.
It certainly looks that way on stage.
Yeah, and what, you know, what I'm told by people that compete or even don't compete, they're just taking it recreationally. They're taking, I'm saying, mate, you're taking more than I took from Mr. Olympia, so I don't think you need that. And
recreation,
you know, you're getting the benefit that you want, the recovery, the muscle building,
right?
With trying to minimize the negative effects. And there is going to be a certain point where you're not really getting any more positive effects anyway. It's like a glass of water. Once it's full, it's full. You can't use it, it's just spilling over then. So then you're just putting more stress on your body for no benefit.
Is that placebo almost then for some people?
I think so. And then they're holding more water. It's not really muscle. That's why the physiques are looking softer.
But to someone like me, an everyday person, if someone's holding more water, I'm like, fucking hell, you look good. Like, we don't really know the difference out on the street.
I get a lot of people asking me for advice, and I always say to them, like, me personally, my advice to you, unless you're competing, don't take any steroids. Unless you're like past 40 and your testosterone's low, and that's hormone replacement, that's a different story. That's good for your health. If your testosterone's low and you put it back to, you know, optimal levels, optimal where you would be when you're 25, 30 and you're like 45, 50 years old, it has tremendous health benefits. But at super high levels, it's not. You know?
That's an interesting angle as well, the testosterone replacement therapy.
Yeah.
Like, men have this period of their life where things stop working as well as they used to, and things like, people call it a midlife crisis, but often it is just like when your hormone levels are out of whack and you've been used to a certain level of pep in your step, I guess. Yeah. You're not feeling as good, so that's where it can really help men feel like themselves.
It's not that you're just not feeling so good.
Depression, I guess, as well.
Depression, arthritis, diabetes, heart problems, all these things can be improved by taking, you know, testosterone replacement amount. So in that context, it's very healthy for people. There's a book that I read, it was in French at first, now it's in English, Ageless Man, and there's a French doctor in there that's been prescribing testosterone and other androgens for decades, and it's got all the case studies of all the, you know, health problems that people had that it was basically able to fix with testosterone. But testosterone is no profit in it for drug companies, so they'd rather you take some arthritis drugs and some insulin and some antidepressants and some this and some that.
Viagra,
you know, all that stuff together. Yeah. It's more profitable for them.
You see, when guys get older though, like they, no offense to any of the elderly men out there, but you know,
you are I mean, you're speaking to someone who's almost 60.
No, but I'm not talking about Dorian.
Well, I don't feel like I'm 60.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was about to say. Yeah.
You know, when you see those guys who are getting older, the man boobs are coming in, things on, like, and they can't be bothered to get out of bed and do the same things
So
they
lack of
used to.
motivation, yeah.
Yeah, and a bit of you know, testosterone in them, it would change the game. But it, like you say, it isn't advertised by the companies who can make money off of it, because it's...
Yeah, maybe you'd have to go to a private clinic or something.
Yeah.
Even your GP is going to probably frown upon it and say, no, you don't need it.
Yeah.
Even if you're, you know, there's a parameters, right? Your testosterone should be between whatever 200 and 1,000. So if it's 201, I'm okay, and you won't prescribe it to me. I got to be 199, and then you'll give it to me. So if you're 200 or 250 or 300, it's not optimal. You know, you're not functioning optimally. You want to be up near the top of the range. And there's this bit of a stigma about it because it's a male hormone, testosterone, steroids, bodybuilders. But women are on hormone replacement, and they're, you know, improving their quality of life with that.
It's this idea that it's cheating, and it's like, well, we're not cheating anyone if we do this later on in life as men. It
You're
should
just
be
having
fine.
a better quality of life and better health.
Yeah.
What's wrong with that? Is it cheating taking insulin? Is it cheating taking thyroid if your thyroid's not working? You're not producing enough testosterone. So
Do you still take any?
yeah, I take replacement therapy. If I don't, it'll be too low because, I mean, it happens anyway to men as they get older. But I accelerated mine because I was taking steroids for bodybuilding. So this suppresses your own levels, and it's hard to get them to bounce back after using it for years.
Because I'm looking at you at 60 years old thinking, bloody hell, I wonder what he's doing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but I mean, testosterone replacement is just part of it. I got a whole regime for my health. I do breathing exercises, I do meditation, I do stretching, I do cardio exercise, I go in the sun, I walk barefoot on the floor, like so many things I do to look after myself because I did this sport, which is what I wanted to do, and I don't have any regrets or anything like that, but it was hard on my body. So now I'm being kind to my body. You know, it's a very extreme lifestyle, and now I feel like I'm more balanced. I'm balancing everything rather than being in this extreme mode.